The University of Utah signed a private equity deal and told us that they were rich. Turns out that money's nowhere to be found and they're firing everybody. That's bad. Oh, and Stuart Mandel of The Athletic just said BYU's the clear favorite to win the Big 12 in football. Clear? This is the Dose Grande Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up. It's the Big 12 squad, and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up. You're part of the Big 12 squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Dose Grande Squad. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12, alongside Jake Hatch of Locked On Cougars, talking all things BYU. Parker Ainsworth, Locked On Cougs. Yes, it's confusing. Talking Houston. Leaf Tulane talks Arizona. Cody Stovall with Oklahoma State. Cameron Stewart of Baylor. Thanks for making all of our shows your first listen every single day. And if you like our shows, you can go to LockedOnBig12.supercast.com, LockedOnOklahomaState.supercast.com. You get the gist and get ad-free Locked On shows for our everyday listeners. Lots to get to today. Crazy week in baseball and softball, and even that said, you did the squad shows built on the gridiron or off the gridiron in the front office where they're firing everybody at the University of Utah. Here's your weird story of the week. The Big 12, RedBird, this whole, $30 million per school, 15, whatever it's going to be. No one said yes. It's just completely fallen to the wayside. There's been no update in weeks on where that's going. Utah was the one to lead the way, though. Last November, $500 million deal with Otro Capital to get a lot of money pumped in their program. No one really knows where that money is. And now Utah's firing employees, telling them they can reapply for their old jobs, but this time the firm from Wall Street is who they're interviewing with. Does this seem problematic to anyone else?
Yes.
Well,
cover a stick.
Yeah.
Well, cover a stick. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit on this, Drake. You mentioned $500 million. The report initially said $500 million, and everybody ran with it. It's up to $500 million. That's if they get the full investment from people buying into that to get $500 million out of this deal. And yes, if you can get $500 million, life's good if you're the University of Utah. But remember, back in November, they said this was going to be finalized by first quarter of 2026. Well, we're near the end of the second quarter. Latest update, we're hoping to have it done by the end of the fiscal year. Who knows when and if this deal is going to get done? We have the state auditor here in the state of Utah who has called it out, saying that she's got a bunch of issues with the way this thing is being structured. She believes that there needs to be government oversight on it until it's finalized. They do believe it's too far down the track not to let it go through, but there's a lot of red flags right now around the University of Utah, especially considering, they had the RIF, reduction in force, and then saying, hey, you can reapply for your job if you want to.
Are we all pretty happy we didn't take the free money now?
So I think that's the thing that's interesting to me is that, like, the big pitch then was like, well, this isn't technically the same kind of, it wasn't a equity. Theoretically, RedBird was not getting equity in any individual school with that deal.
Sure.
And I think this is exactly why that was something everyone was like pushing for, right? Because suddenly no one works at the University of Utah anymore. It sounds like a lot of people don't work there anymore. Shouts to JT though. Think he just got a new job. So I think that, like, that's the big thing to me is, like, this is exactly why we were worried about that. But I don't think those two deals, while they're being compared a lot, actually go together that much, right? I thought there was a stark difference. Maybe there isn't one.
Well, and Parker, to your point, you're right. The RedBird deal has no equity stake in any of these programs if they were to take that deal. Whereas Otro Capital is creating a whole new LLC. It's going to hold 33% of that. And by the looks of it, it's calling the shots on who works for the University of Utah's athletic department.
Yeah.
Guys, I will be the brave one on this show to step up and shed a tear for Utah.
Nice.
Yeah. But now that we're done with that, can we go back to potentially why everything got turned down? Perhaps, if words weren't hard for me, perhaps people knew behind the scenes that this 5 for 5 2014 Cody Campbell stuff was going to grow more legs. I think maybe that could have a component to some of this. Like, maybe some of the powers that be at these universities said, well, let's wait a little bit while longer because all of college football could be changing before our very own eyes once again. So let's wait and see a little bit. And now that we've seen some more stuff kind of come to fruition, that was my first thought was, well, maybe some people knew that behind the scenes.
It's just become clear to me that Utah's not in control anymore. Like that's my biggest takeaway from this is they were in a tough money spot, already kind of reeling when they left the Pac-12 for the Big 12. Like, oh, how do we fix this quickly? I don't know. Let's go grab this from them. They'll give us money, and now they are owned by someone else.
And Drake, to reiterate your point, I don't know if you guys read the story from the Salt Lake Tribune. Jason Badikow's done an incredible job covering this. It's just shout out to him. I think he's been absolutely awesome at that. But the University of Utah, in the past 2 fiscal years alone, has burned through more than $55 million of the rainy day fund. And the state auditor says within the next 2 fiscal years, they will have $0 in the rainy day fund. They're down from $60.5 million to $5.8 million. They used more than $20 million to cover losses last year to show what they thought was a net boost of somewhere around $5 million. They're also paying their former head coach, Kyle Whittingham, $13.5 million. Oh, by the way, to coach at Michigan right now. So, yeah.
Guys, correct me for being uneducated, but isn't there a ton of fossils in Utah? And I'm pretty sure fossil fuels come from that why is Utah not a state that rolls in oil money like Stillwater and Lubbock, Texas? Why is Utah not a state that has more oil money than all of us?
I see Cody moving with a drill right now. He's heading that direction.
Cody, there's a little town called Vernal, Utah. Stop on by.
So I have to say, though, like, obviously we put up the Houston I'm poor graphic or whatever all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone said that Houston was going to take the money.
Can we insert like a picture of Utah, just to overlay that on?
Well, that's kind of my question though. Is like everyone assumed Houston and Iowa State and these programs with less money were going to take the money, and they didn't. I kind of thought Utah was going to take that RedBird deal because it was a capital investment, not a private equity investment in the same kind of way. And this is kind of exactly why. Like, to me, this is the reason that you take the RedBird. If you were a spot that Utah was clearly in, as Jake just outlined, like they're, as much as Kelvin Sampson called Houston poor, apparently they're doing, like, they're dropping money every year. This would be the reason to have taken, if you needed a deal, that RedBird deal versus the one they ended up taking that now they had to fire everyone for because there was no equity in the other company.
That's a great point. This one the one from the Big 12 seems way cooler than the one they signed. Idiots.
That's because they're not in the Big 12. Remember, Drake?
They're Big 10.
They're just setting themselves up for the Big 10.
Wait for the Big 10, everybody.
I forgot about that.
The Big 10 loves the poor. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Look, today we really wanted to talk baseball and softball because we record every Monday, and Monday was like the mecca of baseball and softball. And now West Virginia's tied, and Alabama just hit a 2-run home run to tie the game of the 7th against Texas Tech. When this airs Thursday, we'll have no idea what happened, but all of us are waiting with bated breath for the rest of the Big 12 to get their ish together. West Virginia and Texas Tech. But we're stuck talking about football because none of these games will end. Coming up, let's keep it rolling. The Athletic released their preseason top 25. Why is Arizona not on it? And a better question, why is Baylor not on it? This, because they're bad, is Locked On Dose Grande Squad. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Look, FanDuel is exactly where I go to place all my bets on the NBA Finals. What did I tell you? Weeks ago, I told you I'm taking the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs, on a future to win the NBA championship. Oh, who's laughing now, huh? Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there, including player props. That's the best part. You can check stats and trends and matchups before you make your picks, by the way. And if you don't like sports betting, you're like, hey, I'm not a big bettor. Hey, FanDuel is just a great tool to see what's going on the floor. So one of the reasons that I use FanDuel, even if I'm not actually placing wagers, I love it in playoffs, love these player props that I can use whenever I want to create and craft and make more money. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Go to FanDuel.com to get started today. With FanDuel, you can play your game at FanDuel. It is the Dose Grande Squad. Jay Catch, Cam Stewart, Leaf Tulane, Cody Stovall, Parker Ainsworth, and The Athletic has released its top 25 in college football. Now, if you want Locked On ad-free every day. Our everydayer club is at lockedonbig12.supercast.com, lockedoncougars.supercast.com, lockedonbaylor. You get the point for ad-free Locked On Big 12. The Athletic, Stuart Mandel. Number 8, BYU. He calls them the clear favorite to win the Big 12. At number 14 in the country, Texas Tech. He has another Big 12 team slotted at 18 in Houston. He likes TCU at 25, and that's it. Not really sure where the TCU thing's coming from, by the way. And his outside looking in include Iowa, Cal, Arizona finally shows up, Florida, Utah. No Baylor.
I have no idea like what the hell I'm doing. I have no idea.
Oops. Not great. Leaf, I thought the glaring omission here was that Arizona was not in the top 25. We can get this whole BYU being a clear favorite, but Leaf, I'm surprised the Wildcats aren't. The Athletic hates the Wildcats, is what I heard.
Yeah, I guess I'm not super stunned that they're underrated, but I do think that the pitch for Arizona in the top 25 is really clear. Like, they have the reigning top quarterback in the conference, and he's coming back on a team that went 9-4. And the defense last year, though there are a lot of new faces, the defense last year had a plus 16. I mean, it was turnover. Offense contributes as well because Fafita took care of the ball. But they forced a lot of turnovers, plus 16, which is top amongst the Big 12, top amongst the country, really. And, yeah, you lose some of those guys. Traden Stukes, the NFL. Genesis Smith. The secondary is different. But you retain the coaches, both on the offensive side, the head coach and the defensive coordinator. And that's something that's pretty rare for a team that turns around from 4-8, goes 9-4, and you retain the coaches. Typically, those are hot commodity. And you retain the quarterback that has 70-plus touchdown passes. And so the pitch is simple. Retention of a really important position and a team that's trending upward. But there is something to be said for there's unknown commodities in the defense. I'm willing to say that maybe they don't need to be top 15, even though the offense I think should be really good. But outside the top 25, I did think was too low. For the audio audience, the voice of Lee Tulane brought tears to Cam's eyes. It's just that strong a voice.
I was in, man. I'm a huge Noah Fafita believer.
Dude. His eyes are red. Is that what's going on there?
I'm getting emotional about Noah Fafita, man.
Well, I
think he's so underrated. Like, nobody talks about him, man.
I'm a big Lee Tulane fan.
In the conference last year.
No one talks about Lee Tulane
I praised
enough.
Sawyer Robertson for less. We all glazed Sam Levitt for less.
Glazed. There you go. That's a word for those. Yeah, there you go.
Nobody's glazing DJ Lagway. That's for daggone.
Brother, I'm working double time.
Okay, if Jaden Craig and the TCU Bulldogs can be a top 25 program, Arizona's got to be in there in my opinion.
I'm not a TCU believer.
Yes.
Hello, 7-5 again, I guess. I mean,
I'm a TCU believer, but if you're going to rank TCU, then how can you look at Arizona and say, well, at least they have their quarterback coming back?
Why are you a TCU believer? I like TCU. Gary Patterson's my friend. But what makes me believe this team can win 9 games?
Yeah, no, probably because
we all. I don't know what's happening with the national narrative about Craig, but clearly they downgrade at quarterback, right?
Harvard.
Yeah. Yes. Smart kid, good player. Josh Hoover leaves, and he's all of a sudden at 12-1 to win the Heisman, which is kind of nuts. But they did downgrade at that position, and they weren't better than Arizona last year, man. I don't know.
I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't feel like glazing TCU a lot right now, but Sonny Dykes is pretty renowned for turning, average quarterbacks and making them look like All-Americans. Josh Hoover was obviously a very good quarterback, but what he did do.
That's a good point. Hoover kind of sucked there at the start. I wasn't a Hoover believer for a little bit. I was a bit confused by what was going on there, but it ended up working out pretty well. It's Indiana now.
And if you cut out on the turnovers, they may have a different story, and that's what Jaden Craig's going to provide. But anyways, what I was getting to was if you're gonna, praise TCU for having a 9-win season, why would you not do the same for Arizona, who returns the best quarterback in the league coming into the season?
Well, we had a pump. Okay, Jake can also probably preach Bear Bachmeyer. My man Connor Wegman.
Oh, wow.
10-win season last year. And here's the deal. It's his first off season where he is healthy and has the same coordinator, head coach, quarterback coach, any of that three, frankly. That's partially because A&M was a dumpster fire with before Elko and all that, right? But I think that it's fair to say this. Houston won 10 games last year, and the tough game of the schedule is a team that we don't know who's playing quarterback for them. I think that this path to Arlington is a little bit easier for Houston, and admittedly someone that's scheduling and whatever, right? But it's not why are we thinking 18? Why is BYU the clear-cut favorite? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me right now.
Bear Bachmeier. There you go. Because here's the thing, Park. You talk about Connor Wegman having the full year of continuity around him. Bear
For the
Bachmeier
first time.
Produced a 12-2 record after he showed up on campus in mid-June last year. He had 5 weeks to get assimilated into BYU's campus, their playbook, and all he did was go out and beat everybody not named Texas Tech last year. They got LJ Martin, the reigning offensive player of the year, back at running back. That tandem, I think, has got a lot of people thinking that BYU's poised to step into that vacuum with Texas Tech's uncertainty, and I got certainly no problem with it watching my Cougars.
Well, without Brennan Sorsby at Texas Tech, why wouldn't BYU be the
Brennan Sorsby was that good of a quarterback? I've really been thinking the last 48 hours. I've been really thinking about it. And like, what makes him that much better than Josh Hoover? Or like, when did we decide these kids were elite? What made him a 5-star quarterback? What was it?
Because he could throw the ball on the field.
He went 7-5 in Indiana or in Cincinnati. And remember the Nebraska game where he just was terrible? Because we so bad liability. When did we decide Brennan Sorsby was king?
Well, I can't speak for Tech, but I think they probably looked at the playoff game and said, well, the biggest deficiency is QB. So if we got somebody that was just slightly better than Baron Morton, with everything else we have, we would have been fine.
Is Brennan Sorsby better than Baron Morton? That's my question. Like, is he that much of an upgrade? That's my first.
He looks pretty similar.
What's crazy
to
is there was a market for him.
Yeah,
that's the huge part of all of this.
5-star, yeah.
LSU was was
going to say,
basically match it.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin was in his living room begging him to go to Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Oh, I just got chills. He had 2,800 passing yards. Who died and made him king? What are we doing?
He can flick his wrist and throw 50 yards downfield. And coaches fall in love with that.
This is like when this time last year when I said, you know what? Honestly, I think there's a way Bear Bachmeier is better than Jake Retzlaff just because he's a more conservative, concise, kind of Tim Tebow-esque. And everyone's like, no way. And you know who's better than Jake Retzlaff? The backup. What if Will Hammond's just a good quarterback? You didn't need Brennan Sorsby.
I think Will Hammond is the goods. And here's the thing. Yeah. Chris Level will tell you this. If we ever get Chris Level on the show again, he can tell you this.
Wow.
That felt like a shot.
Wow.
That felt like a shot.
Now wow.
No, that's not a shot.
He's on Court TV right now doing a live hit.
I know, but Chris has said himself, he said that
NBC.
if Will Hammond was healthy, they would have never been in the market for a guy like Brendan Sorsby.
He said that,
was going to be the guy.
Yep. And again, the deal is Houston also plays Tech early enough in the year that like the Will Hammond thing is a question mark. So you mentioned BYU, Jake, and we didn't see each other last year, and if we see each other this year, it would be in Arlington. I'm all up for having that cat fight in Jerry World. I just don't think that like this is a crazy like Houston stuff's all in front of them. You mentioned 2,700 yards. Connor Wegman had 2,700 yards last year too, and he also had 700 yards on the ground. And they got better all around him.
Bachmeier had 3,500, so
yeah, and he would have been a 2-star if he transferred. No one would have given a rat's ass about that kid because that's the way the world goes round. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, 47. He'd have been at Bowling Green at the backup.
The people that still ask me why he wears that number, even to this day, it's hilarious that more people don't pick up on the fact that he's wearing that number for a specific reason. But that's
unreal.
It's not that it's a high number; it's just an ugly number.
47, man.
Yeah,
it adds to 11. Nothing about it. There's no saving grace.
It's horrendous.
I'll give you that.
45. I don't know. That's better.
Oh my goodness! Walk-off home run, Texas Tech softball. We're going to the winner take all. Boom, baby. That's what you get for the Big 12. That's what's happening live right now. We record this on the Dose Grande Squad.
Right.
All right. Well, West Virginia could walk off their game any minute now. We won't know. This show releases Thursday. It's a product of when we record.
How funny is it right after Jake takes shots at Chris Level?
Right. Where Level's just in Oklahoma City.
Any shots at Chris. Chris is my guy. Let's be clear.
Level's in the dugout, right? I'm looking at him on the TV. They're send it down to Chris Level on the sidelines.
Good old Chris.
And Hatch's like, yeah, if he ever shows up. That's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas Tech, who I still think Texas Tech with a healthy Will Hammond as well is the best team in the Big 12, given the talent. I'd say anyone's a clear favorite, though, at this point is if a bad state. It's just a bad take. No one's a clear favorite in the Big 12. I think that BYU and Texas Tech are the top two, and Houston's a lot closer than people want to give them credit for. I was riding the Houston train last year. Straight to remember.
Remember, Drake and I are two of the only people that wanted to talk to Willie Fritz in the entire media day last year.
Yeah.
So I will support Drake there.
We were the only two. That was, and Willie came up and was like, "Hi, I'm Willie." I was like, "Wow, all right, good to meet you."
Total
sir.
sidebar, and not because I love Kelvin Sampson, obviously. Kelvin Sampson says that's the only white Willie he knows, and I think he might be right.
Oh my gosh! All right, white Willie.
It's like that, and like Willie Nelson.
White Willie.
Willie Nelson is yes.
People
I mean, I don't
it's a
normally
short
praise
list. It's a short
like
list.
OU coaches, but shout out to OU for helping KU.
Bill Clinton is a Willie.
But it didn't go by Willie.
This one for sure.
He does use it from time to time. There's that one in there.
Different. That's different.
Let's do little. So the Brendan Sorsby take from Monday. I don't expect a ruling by Thursday. It's supposed to come within 7 days per Jeffrey Kessler, who kept calling him Brandon Sorsby. Not a good look. Not a good look.
That guy just wants to pants the NCAA.
I was going to say that's all he wants. He wants the NCAA to lose.
He doesn't even know this kid.
Who am I representing? Brandon Sorsby? Okay, we're good.
Oh, wow.
Whoever the hell my defendant is, the NCAA sucks, and then he just wins every time.
And he says he doesn't need to show up because we can make the arguments for him. That
crazy, man. He's that confident. He's Batman against. I told Cam on a crossover this week. The NCAA probably killed his parents in some cave, and so now he's fighting them for the rest of his life. I think hey Drake, you have to decide what happens here. Bad man. There's just no way he can play college football again. There's no way with what we know now he can play college football again. Someone please push back on that.
Nope.
Has there been any ounce of evidence that's come out that's been in his favor?
No.
Every time something
brain
it's just progressively getting worse, isn't it?
That's
yeah.
Because the way it was portrayed is like, okay, he bet on Indiana maybe once or twice. Comes out, he bet on them 40 times while he was
and his buddies. Hey Jarius, hope you have 12 receiving yards. Got your over today.
And then he moved to Texas where he can't bet, so he starts wiring money to people outside the state to keep.
He was in Texas for 3 months.
He's addicted. It's his mental health, idiot. He tried to tell you that. It's an issue.
And in Lubbock, you can drive like 2 hours either direction and be across the border. So like you can get to a casino pretty quick.
Or Mexico. You just
hold on. Is that an
two,
indictment on Lubbock, Texas? Did his mental health go too
Oh my
crazy?
gosh, because he lived in Lubbock.
Too many vices in Lubbock.
Your Honor, you have to understand he's living in Lubbock.
Title expert. Lubbock.
There's
led
nothing
to.
but cows and cars. I need to bet.
I think
R.I.P. Brendan Sorsby's FanDuel account. You'd love the Women's College World Series.
Brandon.
Sorry.
He would have bet on this. He would have bet on Texas Tech tonight in college softball. So with this story and the more that's come out about him betting against or betting on Indiana while he was there, and then again at Cincinnati, but not on. I want to know why he stopped betting on his own team after just that one season in Indiana. He quit doing that thing. Why?
Because he was told it's a no-no.
Yep.
Was he not told at Indiana he was a no-no?
I'm sure he was told at Indiana. He did it, then realized, holy, you know what? I could be in hot water here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet somebody at Indiana said, dude, don't do that. You can bet on badminton, but don't bet on this. And he was like, badminton? Hell yeah.
Yeah, KBO. He's just on his phone like, I can do that?
He was betting on Romanian soccer. Like, oh,
yeah.
I saw some Turkish basketball.
Yeah, Turkish basketball. Yes, league, yes.
Some big Alperin Şengün guy here.
Turkish basketball is intense.
Let's go.
Intense.
Isn't Enes Kanter from Turkey? Well,
Yes,
not
he
anymore,
is.
right? They can't.
That's an American. There's a red-blooded American.
That would be Enes Freedom, by the way.
Yes.
Meta world peace. Enes Freedom, of course. That's correct. Can we agree that Daryl Walker? Okay, wait a second. I'm talking. I'll ask you. Fine, Parker. Can we agree that Daryl Walker, the backup wide receiver at Western Kentucky, can bet on the Kentucky Derby?
That's different to me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, great. I think they should be able to bet
assuming
on
you don't own a
something.
horse or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. So my
He's
question
got
is
a
gonna
horse,
be,
all right.
Do you think these are being leaked to get you to sympathize more of him being an addict?
Yeah, that hadn't worked yet. So if you were Enos Cantor,
Could be a
Enos
shot.
Freedom.
Back to Edith.
no, but that's and you were going to change your name. Why wouldn't you change your first name to it doesn't quite sound like that?
Huh? What'd you
Well, it's
say?
not an omitted letter away. It's
Right,
one
like,
letter
if-
away.
Flies
You're
down.
going through all the paperwork to change your name from Enos Cantor to Enos Freedom.
Freedom Cantor would have been better than
Thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm saying.
Ennis or Enos? Do we know which one it is?
I know which one we
I always
say.
called him Ennis, but
Okay.
Enos is way cooler to me.
I'm from Enid, so I've always called him
Yeah.
Enos.
There we go.
Elvis's mom was glad she didn't name him Enos. Did you ever hear that joke?
No, but I am
They
ready
asked,
to hear
Elvis-
it.
yeah,
now.
they
whatever,
asked
man.
Elvis's mom what she thought of his nickname, Elvis the Pelvis, and she says, "I'm glad I didn't name him Enos." I guess it's a true story.
Got it.
Uh,
Hey,
got
for
it.
those of us
Parker
who
gets
aren't-
it.
For those of us who aren't good with words, what's that close to? Cam?
Oh, no. Careful.
How about Enos Johnson? Enos Johnson, would that have worked?
Enos
I
Johnson.
met-
That's pretty good. That's
I
pretty
met
good.
a Richard Johnson this weekend who goes by Rich.
Of
Like,
course.
dude, you were right there. You were down the
Dude.
middle for this.
I used to work for a guy named Richard Johnson,
We have a coworker now with the
And-
bananas.
and you know what he went by?
Richard.
Dick Lundy.
Come on, Dick
I'm
Johnson.
not kidding, man.
He was Dick Johnson.
Yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
he writes under Richard A. Johnson, but everyone called him Dick.
Dick Johnson. Yeah, terrible bunt from West Virginia.
Wow, that was ugly.
Bunting sucks.
Straight up to the pitcher.
If only there was a
Goodness.
sport where you couldn't bunt. If only it was illegal somewhere in America. Yeah. That's Jake Hatch, Locked on Cougars. Cameron Stewart.
Cam, shout out to you. Great job on the bananas. bro.
Hey,
Thank
Cam,
you.
shout out to you for, I'm pretty sure the
Drake.
history of Baylor, it goes RG3, you, and Drake. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please.
We got two Savannah Banana people now. We got
And surely when the day comes, decades from now, that'll leave Locked on Big 12, Cameron Stewart will take over that too.
Yeah. I'll give you each my address for autographs.
It's Jake Hatch, Locked on Cougars, Cameron Stewart, Locked on Baylor, leave Tulane, Locked on Wildcats, Arizona. And Cody Stovall, Locked on Oklahoma State, Parker Ainsworth, Locked on Cougs, talking all things Houston. Oh, whoa. Let me do it. It's over. West Virginia wins.
Oh,
West Virginia
Freaking
wins.
go.
What a drop. Perfect
roll
timing.
here.
Perfect.
What an idiot.
Rock talk
Perfect
and chew them country
timing.
roads, baby.
Oh, what an idiot, man. God, take that, Kentucky fans. Idiots. This has been It Always Will Be Locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. The Dose Grande Squad.